Assalamu alaikum. Dear viewers, your sister and host Sidramin is once again present to share with you the story of an atheist young woman who embraced Islam. She is from Slovakia, and this is the story of a young woman's journey to guidance. She grew up in Slovakia, a predominantly Christian European country, yet the search for truth always remained alive within her heart. Despite misconceptions, questions, and an inner emptiness, she made the effort to understand Islam for herself. She met Muslims, read the Quran, and gradually came to recognize the truth. This is not the story of a single moment, but a journey towards faith through awareness, patience, and small, steady steps. It carries a message of hope and encouragement for everyone who is sincerely searching for the truth. So let us begin the video.
I am from Slovakia, where the majority of the population is Christian. Before accepting Islam, I did not have any strong religious or spiritual background. To be honest, I did not truly believe in anything. I considered myself almost an atheist. Although I was raised in a Christian family, those beliefs never felt right to me from the heart, so I could not accept them. As soon as I reached my teenage years, I distanced myself from that religion. In this way, I spent my entire life without any spiritual or religious identity, until I eventually left Slovakia. My journey of faith actually began 3 years ago, when I moved to Greece. In Greece, there are approximately 350,000 Muslims. Although this is not a very large number in proportion to the total population, it still makes up around 3.5% of the country, and it is certainly much more than in my own country, Slovakia. When I met many Muslims in Greece, I still believed in a lot of negative things about Islam. Because of the anti-Islam propaganda spread by Western media, a sense of curiosity developed within me. I wanted to research whether the things said about Islam were actually true or not. So I began to gather information about Islam little by little. As I researched further, I realized that Islam was not wrong, rather, my way of thinking had been wrong. There was no single, specific moment when I accepted Islam, as if a sudden thought came into my mind and I immediately converted. It was a long journey, made up of small steps. I began searching for information about Islam, and on the internet I started seeing more videos from the Muslim community. I noticed that these people were kind, loving, and soft-hearted. As I continued my research, I came to understand that many of the things I had previously believed about Islam were not true. Islam is not a religion that kills Christians or people of other faiths. On the contrary, the Quran clearly states, "For you is your religion, and for me is mine." This means that Islam gives people of all religions complete freedom to live their lives according to their own beliefs. After that, I bought my first Quran in the Slovak language and began reading it. I also made many videos about this. Whenever I read something in the Quran that touched me, I would make a video about it and post it on TikTok. At that time, my intention was not to accept Islam. Rather, my aim was for others to know the truth, that Islam is not such a bad religion. I spoke to my family about this as well, and in this way the journey continued slowly, until I finally made my decision. If I am completely honest, it was not a single verse of the Quran that instantly put me on this path. It was not as though one verse suddenly sparked something in my mind and I immediately decided to become Muslim. The reality is that since childhood I had many questions, which I used to ask my Christian family, but they could not give me satisfying answers. The answers I received did not seem logical to me, so I could not believe in them. That is why I left Christianity and became an atheist. However, when I started reading the Quran and asked the same questions online within the Muslim community, I received logical and clear answers to almost every question. Then, when I searched in the Quran, I found the same answers there as well. At that point, I realized that all of this truly made sense. When I decided to accept Islam, I asked an online friend how one becomes Muslim, because I did not know the procedure. I was told that witnesses are required for the declaration of faith. I began looking for a place to do this, but since there are no mosques in Slovakia, it was difficult. Then I learned about an Islamic center in Bratislava. There was no formal mosque there either, rather, it was like a non-traditional mosque inside a house. I called them and told them that I wanted to accept Islam. They said, "Please come." I went there at around 8 in the evening, and 2 people were present. They guided me in reciting the testimony of faith, congratulated me, and in this way I left that place as a Muslim. As I mentioned earlier, in the beginning I had many misconceptions about Islam, countless ones. I grew up in a country where Islam is not properly understood. We only heard about Islam through what others said. Since the Muslim population in Slovakia is very small, fewer than 10,000 people, you can imagine that in a country of about 5.5 million, the presence of just a few thousand Muslims is almost invisible. You can understand how many misconceptions exist about Muslims in Slovakia from the fact that in 2016, Robert Fico actually ran his election campaign on the promise that he would not allow Muslims to enter the country. Because of this slogan, people voted for him, and he became Prime Minister. As a result, visa rules for people from Muslim countries are very strict in Slovakia.
Before we move ahead, we kindly request that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe now and also click on the bell icon so that you receive notifications of all our new videos immediately. May Allah reward you.
I remember that in my childhood people used to say very bad things about Muslims, and I believed them. I thought that women were oppressed, that they were hated, beaten, or even imprisoned. I truly believed this. I also thought that Muslims were dangerous people, that they were violent and bloodthirsty, and so on. However, all of this changed when I met Muslims myself for the first time. They treated me with such respect and dignity that I had never experienced anything like it before. That was the moment I thought, perhaps I am the one who is wrong. After accepting Islam, my life changed greatly. Before that, I was a very sad, negative, and hopeless person, often living with depression. I was drawn to sadness and even used to harm myself. But after becoming Muslim, I began to gain control over myself. I started focusing on self-love and self-improvement. My life gained a sense of purpose. My thinking shifted from negativity towards a more positive direction. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I feel that I am in this world for a reason, that I have something to do. It is no longer a matter of simply living or dying without it making any difference. I have become happier because I feel that I am part of a community where people love me, support me, and stand by me. This is the fundamental change that has come into my life. As for my family, I can say that I am very fortunate. My family fully respects my decision. I have seen that many new Muslims face difficulties in this regard, but I did not experience such problems. My family supports me in every decision, even though they are Christian. My mother is especially supportive. Sometimes she even adjusts my hijab for me. There are times when I have to look for my Quran because my mother is reading it. My father is not as supportive, but he says that it is my decision, my life, and I am free to do what I choose. My friends are also wonderful. They have stood by me throughout this entire journey. Some of my friends even come to try on the hijab themselves and tell me how beautiful I look. All of this makes me very happy. My family and friends have accepted me wholeheartedly, and I am truly grateful for how supportive they all are. People around me often ask me questions about Islam, and I sometimes feel hesitant in answering them. This is because I am still at the very beginning of my learning journey. At times, people ask me many questions, and I am unable to answer them. At present, my main sources of knowledge are the Quran and the internet, so sometimes it is difficult to find accurate information. For now, my main focus is on how my daily life should be if I want to be a good Muslim. I am concentrating on prayer and the basics, and I am confident that the rest will come with time. Speaking as a Muslim woman living in Slovakia, this question is truly difficult for me. In one sense, I love my country and its people. The real issue is that most people in Slovakia know nothing about Islam. They only believe what they are shown through the media. However, because of this situation, I have also met several other Muslim women here who are Slovak reverts, and they face the same challenges that I do. I created a group for them on Instagram, where we talk and also meet once or twice a week. In this way, the experience has been beneficial in some respects. This journey is not easy, but it is certainly very beautiful. I am also thinking about moving away from Slovakia in the near future, and this seems like a good decision as well. If a Slovak revert woman gets the opportunity to move to a Muslim country, I believe that life there would certainly become easier. However, this is only a thought for now, not a final decision. One very important point that I want to share with all of you watching is that born Muslims should be careful when speaking about reverts. When I began learning about Islam and told people that I was thinking about reciting the Shahada, some people asked me questions such as, "Can you give up alcohol? Are you ready to wear the hijab? Will you be able to pray 5 times a day?" These questions made me think that perhaps I was not yet ready to become Muslim. I became afraid that maybe I was not even capable of becoming Muslim. I believe born Muslims need to understand that we reverts are at the very beginning. We have to learn everything from zero, and sometimes we have to learn completely on our own. We are not only learning a religion, but also changing our entire way of life. I also want to say this to those who are afraid because they cannot give up alcohol yet or cannot change everything immediately. My belief is that the Shahada is the point from which change slowly begins. Everyone moves at a different pace. I myself did not start wearing the hijab immediately, and I am still not perfect. I still make mistakes, even today, and that is completely okay.
In my view, the first step is the Shahada. After that, the process of learning begins, and everything else comes with time. We reverts have not spent our whole lives with Islam. We have to search for knowledge ourselves, and more than anything, we need support, not to hear comments like "you're not ready yet" or "you're doing this wrong." The truth is that when we become Muslim, we ourselves become aware of what we are doing wrong. For example, if someone sees me wearing makeup and tells me that I should not do this, I already know that myself. I am fully aware of it. But I am slowly changing the habits of my 24 years of life. I believe that Allah sees everything, and He also sees that I am taking small steps. These small steps are very valuable. Inshallah, the mistakes will leave one day. What we need most is more support and encouragement. Finally, if I were to give advice to someone who is thinking about accepting Islam, my advice would be this: recite the Shahada. Everything else will come later. You will learn, you will find your way. Do not be afraid, and do not worry about what people say. Listen to your heart, listen to the Quran, and trust that Allah Himself will guide you and show you how you are meant to be guided. That is my advice.